All right, Apple clock says 3:30. Welcome to 2022, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. And let's go ahead with the opening statement. Jewel, if you'd like to start.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, board, staff, and members of the public. After my statement, the chairman will open this meeting and explain the rules for this electronic meeting. Please keep your microphone on mute when you are not speaking. The technical support team may proactively mute participants if the microphone is picking up background noise. Board members should check to make sure the microphone is not muted before speaking. You may text me at 540 336 3948 at any time during the meeting if you need technical support, and an IT tech will call your cell to assist. I now turn the meeting over to Board Chairman Kobliss.
Thank you, and I open the meeting. Jonathan, if you'd like to read your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Due to the local state of emergency for the COVID-19 pandemic, the Loudon Water Board is meeting today by electronic means pursuant to our electronic meeting guidelines and the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. Public notice and meeting access information was provided on the Loudon Water website, and a recording of the meeting will be available also on the Loudon Water website. Depending on action by the County Board of Supervisors, they may end the state of emergency prior to our next meeting, or perhaps prior to the April meeting, in which case we would be required to meet in person for those meetings. But we'll keep you posted on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. During presentation, staff will pause for questions and discussion. There will be an opportunity for discussion after each presentation, and we will also monitor and recognize the hand raise feature. For each action item, a roll call voice vote will be taken by the board secretary. Opportunity for public comment was provided within the meeting notice. Any written comments were provided to the board secretary and will be read during the public speaker's agenda item. I open the meeting, and if Jewel, if you could take a roll call.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Allen?
Here.
Mr. Bonfils?
Present.
Mr. Byers?
Here.
Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Mr. Kelly will be a few minutes late. Mr. Kobliss?
Here.
Mr. Moody?
Here.
Ms. Sursakar?
Here.
And Mr. Sultan?
Here.
Thank you.
Great. Like I said, welcome to 2022. If I could have a motion to approve the minutes from the December 9th meeting.
So moved. This is Marty. This is Keith. I'll second.
Any more discussion? If not, go ahead, Jewel.
Thank you, Mr. Bonfils.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Byers?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly? Mr. Kobliss?
Yes.
Mr. Moody?
Yes.
Ms. Sursakar?
Yes.
Mr. Sultan?
Yes.
And Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Thank you.
I thought you forgot Terry, but I was getting confused there for a minute. Well, let's do some board member comments.
Who is that, Marty?
Yeah.
Can you mute?
Well, that was quite an introduction. Thank you, Marty. And first of all, I'm very happy to be reelected to the board for another 4 years. So I'm starting my 13th year. And I'd also like to congratulate Marty also for being reelected to the board. And I believe this is his 9th year, Marty? Or is it? Yeah, I thought so. So anyway, I've also been the chairman. I'm the only chairman that's never hit the gavel but yet. I was elected chairman in COVID, and I've never used a gavel. Maybe I'll get a gavel here at the house or something like that. I thought I just wanted to say how impressed I was by Mike Beardsley's IT report or presentation. It was extremely informative. It wasn't long. It hit all the high points. I know he had a lot of staff to help him, but I just thought it was a great presentation. And with that, I'll have Bill Byers on the top of my screen. So go ahead, Bill.
No comment, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Marty.
No comment, except you're stuck with me for another 4 years, and I'm just glad to be reelected. Thank you.
Keith.
Yes, I'd just like to say congratulations to both you and Marty on being reelected, and also like to comment that Jonathan mentioned we might be back in person, so I'm looking forward to seeing everyone again back in person. So.
All right, Brent.
Yeah, congratulations to both of you all. Appreciate all the work you do on the committee, so I'm glad you guys are back. And also I echo the comments about Mike Beardsley. Really appreciated that presentation from everyone. Very thorough, and it just makes you feel good that we've got competent people running the show here. So that's great, and thank you.
Okay, Angeline. I think you're muted.
Glad I was muted because I was wondering around the world. Anyway, congratulations to both of you. 13 years and 9 years, and wow, that's great. I mean, for rookies like us who are new on the board, it's wonderful. It's an adage, and also just echoing what Brent had said, about doing a great job and moving forward. I also want to just take a moment very quickly to thank everybody who does a tremendous job of keeping Land and Water going at the back end, and we don't see all our staff and all the other people that work to keep it all going. So thank you, all of you. Thank you to Jewel, thank you to Carla and everybody else who has presented in the past and will be presenting today. We won't be here without your support and your effort, so it's not going amiss. So thank you very much.
That was very nice to say, Angeline. Thank you. Terry?
Yeah, I want to echo the comments. The IT presentation was awesome, and I want to congratulate the two of you. You guys are both an integral part of the board and have just tremendous experience that's really invaluable. So welcome back for 4 years. I also want to thank, I assume it's Sue Crosby for sending out the 2021 accomplishments brochure. That was neat reading that, and it was impressive seeing all the stuff that Loud and Water has done during what was a troublesome 2021. So kudos to everybody, and that was a great little brochure. And then happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there that still has somebody worth buying a Valentine's Day present for. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Jim?
Well, Terry just ticked off all the things I was going to say. So I'll just say happy Valentine's Day and call it a day. Thanks.
Jim, you could mention the Super Bowl.
Or not.
Yeah, the Super Bowl, guys. I was wondering where's all my male colleagues? Nobody mentioned Super Bowl.
Go Bengals.
So.
All right. Well, Terry, thanks for reminding me about Sue Crosby's book. I actually forwarded it to the staff at our company to say, hey, look what we've done at Loud and Water. Look, maybe we could do something like this here too. All righty. Well, let's move on with the general manager's report. Carla?
Thank you very much, Chair and members of the board. Jonathan stole my first item, which was just to mention that the Board of Supervisors is considering lifting the local state of emergency and their mask mandates for indoors. So we're keeping an eye on that, and we'll let you know when we hear any updates. As we mentioned a while back, Loud and Water was awarded up to $1.2 million of utility relief funding through the state and local fiscal recovery fund of the American Rescue Plan Act. That program focused specifically on residential customers. who had past due balances as of August 31st of last year. And I'm happy to report that utility relief credits in the amount of $319,655 were posted to 958 eligible accounts this week. So those customers will be receiving a letter explaining that funding as well. I did want to highlight an item that is noted in the O&M quarterly report that will be later in the agenda. In December 2021, Loudon Water Central Distribution System and the Selma Water Treatment Plant received the Centers for Disease Controlled Water Fluoridation Quality Award for calendar year 2020. CDC issues these awards to recognize water systems that monitor and actively adjust the fluoride concentration in drinking water. With respect to statistics, we had 162 ERCs for January. I wish it was July, for January. Just a couple reminders of upcoming meetings. The CIP committee will meet on Wednesday, February 23rd at 8 a.m. That will include a closed session to continue our discussion on the Reservoir Park project. The Finance Committee will meet on Thursday, February 24th at 8 a.m. And that will include an agenda item on the milestone communications item that was brought to the full board in December. And that's all I have.
Okay, great. Jewel, do we have any members of the public that would like to talk or discuss?
No, sir, we do not have anyone signed up to speak.
Okay, great. Can I get somebody to move to adopt the agenda, please?
So moved. This is Marty.
I'll second it. This is Brent.
All right, no discussion. Go ahead, Jewel.
Thank you, Mr. Bonfils.
Yes.
Mr. Byers,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly, Mr. Moody,
Yes.
Ms. Sarsakar,
Yes.
Mr. Sultan,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
and Mr. Koblis.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
That's right. I was supposed to come up with a schedule on who motions and who seconds so that we don't overtalk ourselves, right? Just kidding. So everybody was at the CIP committee. So Marty, if you could give a brief description just for the public and we can go from there.
That's exactly my thought. The only item was the award of Community Systems Basic Ordering Agreement. Of the 6 proposals received, 5 were interviewed, and Dewberry Engineers and Racy Engineers were recommended for award. The CIP committee recommended 1-year BOAs to both firms with the option of 4 1-year extensions and have it placed on the board consent agenda for today. Next item was a very informative review of construction market conditions, trends, and volatility. The committee then entered into a closed session to discuss construction cost of Reservoir Park. Following the closed session, Brian Stone provided the capital construction quarterly report. Tom Lipinski provided the capital spending monthly report. And the last item was the 2022 work plan for the committee. And that was the meeting.
Thanks, Marty.
Was that short enough?
Yeah, that was just perfect. You know, you hit the high points. It's all we needed since we were all there. Now, unfortunately, Bill blew off the Water Resources Committee meeting. So Jim, you could go ahead and, no, just kidding.
I'd like a half-hour dissertation on that meeting, please.
Anyway, you missed a good one and you should look it up. It was on IT. Go ahead, Jim.
Sure. Thank you very much. The Water Resources Committee report, it will be brief also. There's a good summary of it that's in the board records and available to the public. Our Chief Information Officer did a great job of going over all of our IT and some of the decisions and why they were made and how they were made, and our security provisions, and the different segments of our information technology and how we protect both our physical assets and our intellectual assets. It was a very, very well attended. We only had one board member missing, and I believe there were a number of people that watched the replay. So if you missed it, or anyone in the public, it's very much worthwhile watching. I talked to a couple of other people in the industry. As you know, I'm in the IT industry, and they were going to look it up. So it was a really great presentation, and all of the staff that helped put that together, I owe them a big thank you. That was a great one. It's my report.
Thanks, Jim. We have only one item on the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda? Or the items on consent?
Mr. Sultan, you're muted, sir.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second, Jim Bonfils.
All right, no need for discussion, or I assume there's no discussion. Go ahead, Jewel.
Thank you. Mr. Bonfils,
Yes.
Mr. Byers,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly, Mr. Moody,
Yes.
Ms. Sursakar,
Yes.
Mr. Sultan,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
and Mr. Koblis.
Yes.
Thank you.
We don't have any items on our action agenda. We don't have any new business. We don't have any informational items. As far as the finance report, it just always stuns me how many ERCs come in the month of December. But if there's anything else, Brian, you want to state?
Nope, just I was going to mention the ERCs, but you hit on that, so I'm happy to answer any other questions.
All righty. Jessica, is there anything that you would like to discuss on the Water Resources Management Monthly Report?
Nope, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, hearing none. Hui, anything special on the water and sewer agreements?
Nothing significant to note, sir.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Okay, thank you. Into the quarterly reports, the BOA quarterly report. Tom, did we already go through that in the last meeting, or is there anything significant on that? I'm sorry, I didn't review it.
No worries. No, this was just presented for the first time here. This is sort of the status of the BOAs at the end of the year.
Sure.
And yeah, at the end of the fourth quarter. So if there's any questions, certainly can answer them. But
I really like the better spread this past year, that's for sure. All right, we're going to pass on the capital construction report. Brian has not attended, and we've all seen the construction report in the CIP meeting. Hui, is there anything on the land development activity report that needs to be discussed?
No, sir.
Okay. Alton, anything on the operations and maintenance quarterly report that needs to be discussed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll just acknowledge there was a in Luckett Elementary School wastewater treatment facility. There was a permanent exceedance at the end of the year. I just wanted to note that the new facility to replace the old wastewater treatment plant is going into startup testing this month and will likely be online next month. So we're getting toward the end there with that, but that's a contract operated facility, of course.
Okay, great, thanks. I did see that. I was going to ask you about it. Just did make a note. As usual, our safety is just incredible. So Tom, unless you want to add anything, it's great to see that report.
Thank you very much, and certainly appreciate all that our line level supervisors and managers do to help us attain this goal. Certainly a great job. Thank you.
So as we are rocking and rolling along here, we are going to go into a closed meeting, and since I always
Hang
blow.
on.
Oh,
Wait,
hold
wait,
on.
wait,
I'm
wait, wait.
sorry.
No, don't go yet. No. Let's go back for a second. When you say safety is incredible, what do you mean by that?
There's no
Because
accidents.
I'm not on the same page right now.
There was no accidents, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I
Is
don't
that
know.
all?
So the report that hopefully you've been able to look at, we've effectively had 2 incidents in all of last year that were reportable. So by all measures, if you compare that across the board to all different agencies, certainly most to utilities, we're well below that. And so our staff has done a phenomenal job, but we also have a significant safety culture here as well, where we do multiple different trainings throughout and keep our folks up to date on the latest regs and training.
What were the 2 incidents that happened last year? Can you just
One was a
brief me on that?
metal saving in the hand, which you'll see a little bit down below, about halfway down the report. And then the last one was where an individual pinched a finger between their hose and the side of a vault. So fairly, they were reportable based on beyond first aid, but ultimately nothing too severe.
Okay. All right. So how can we avoid such thing this year and avoid other incidents from happening?
Yeah, so we'll take these, actually, each of these incidents, we go through and have a little panel that we convene, and then they determine if it's preventable or not. And certainly if it's preventable, we'll go back and review with that particular individual as well as the work group, so that to, again, hopefully prevent that from happening in the future.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think we had more accidents in my engineering office than we have in this exterior group. I mean, but anyway,
I was going to say, I used to be in safety at Pepsi, and I would say this is excellent. I used to be in inventory. When I see something like this, it's quite excellent.
Yep. All right. Since I always blow this, Jonathan, you want to tell me the right thing to do on this closed meeting thing?
Sure. If one of the board members could move that the board enter into a closed meeting for discussion of the general manager's annual merit review. And then we can have a vote in public session to enter into the closed session.
I'll make the motion. This is Bill.
I'll second it.
Second.
Go ahead and roll call.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bonfils?
Yes.
Mr. Byers?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly? Mr. Moody?
Yes.
Ms. Sursakar?
Yes.
Mr. Sultan?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
And Mr. Koblis?
Yes.
And members will need to exit this meeting and then go to your calendar and find the invite for the closed meeting and enter the closed meeting that way. Thank you.
Jewel, do you have gloves on?
No, does it look like I do?
Yeah.
How funny. Oh, wow. They are really shaded like
Oh,
I have
it's
gloves
your,
on.
no, it's your scarf. I thought your scarf was your hands. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Now we see. But it's very shaded or dark. Weird. Okay, that was quick so far.
Well, yeah. Knock on wood.
Yep, knock on wood.
Jewel, let me know when all the board members are here.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Oh, I guess we're not here yet.
Don't see okay, there's Mr. Allen. Jolene. All right, looks like we have everybody.
All right, excellent.
So
I
the
need-
first item, Mr. Chairman, is the motion to certify, and then the next is the motion to approve the adjustment.
Okay, can I have a motion to certify the recommended action that's stated in our agenda?
So moved. This is Marty.
Second, Sean.
Go ahead.
Mr. Bonfils,
Yes.
Mr. Byers,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Moody,
Yes.
Ms. Sursakar,
Yes.
Mr. Sultan,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
and Mr. Koblis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Terry, if you'd like to make your motion.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve the compensation package for the general manager of Loudon Water that the board just discussed in the closed session.
And I'll second it. Jewel, if you could have a roll call.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bonfils,
Yes.
Mr. Byers,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Moody,
Yes.
Ms. Sursakar,
Yes.
Mr. Sultan,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
and Mr. Koblis.
Yes. All right, thank you, everybody. And I encourage everybody to spend a lot of money on their spouses like my wife told me to do. So you guys have a
Good
great
thinking.
time.
Would you?
And
I
can
will
you
I
have-
will let my husband Amit know that. Thanks. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Keith, so moved.
Second, Marty.
Roll
Thank you,
call.
Mr. Bonfils,
Yes.
Mr. Byers,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Moody,
Yes.
Ms. Sursakar,
Yes.
Mr. Sultan,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Koblis.
Yes.
Adjourned at 4:17 p.m. Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Take care, everyone.